What's up, guys? Tukey here, back again with another episode of my New York Islanders GM Mode series here on NHL 16. And as we take a look at our lineup here before our first round matchup against the Buffalo Sabres, I did quickly want to talk about the first off-season video. Obviously, I didn't talk about it in the last episode because that episode was going to be long enough as it is, seeing as we sim the entire season. But basically, I wanted to say this about the moves we made and how we approached things. Now, right off the bat, I probably didn't do exactly what the majority of people would have liked me to do in terms of trading down at the draft instead of trading up. Obviously, with the NHL, the real-life NHL draft happening within the last 2 months, there's a lot of big names out there that I'm sure people would have liked to have seen being featured in this GM mode. And, we didn't really take that approach, nor did we really do what I think a lot of people were hoping that I would do in terms of free agency, signing the 4 prospects that we did. Now, that said, it's tough to keep this series realistic because the game itself isn't that realistic to begin with. For example, Timashov and Travis Dermott would never hit free agency. They would still be on Toronto, but it is tough to really keep things balanced. Obviously, when we originally started the series, I asked you guys, should we put a limit on how many guys I can sign? Before, we said, maybe just a couple's fine. So I took the same approach in free agency, and some people might not have been, the biggest fans of that decision. But to respond to that, I simply say, look at Bridgeport. Now, if I wanted to, I could have signed every top 9 forward, and this team would be completely different. But look at who we have in this lineup right now, and it is under best lines because I want them to get into the playoffs. But if I was really going unrealistic with it, we wouldn't have Zach Ronaldo and Tim Schaller as depth players. We wouldn't have Andrew Miller. Eric Bolton would be gone. Markusen, Gomes, Holstrom, they would all be gone. And it would look like the Vancouver series where we have nothing but top 6 prospects and above in that lineup. So I do feel like I kept it fairly realistic from that aspect. Also, defensively, having someone like Jake Chelios in the lineup right now, the goaltending's not ridiculous. We kept Berube. Basically, what I'm saying is it is tough to really balance this out and keep everybody happy, but that is why I asked you guys when the series started, and that's why I will ask you guys again, what limits should we have in terms of what we can do to try and keep this series realistic and challenging at the same time? Obviously, within the next season, I could just completely get this right back into Vancouver territory where we are competing for cups year after year without much of a challenge. But of course, that's it. Like I said, the game's not that realistic to begin with. So the fact you have to handicap yourself and handcuff yourself to make it difficult is pretty disappointing, but it is what it is. So in terms of draft picks, we had our limit at 3 in one round at the most in terms of first round picks. In terms of signing guys, should it no longer be just a couple of players? Should it be one, like literally just one high-end prospect in the free agent list? Should it be nobody? Should all of our prospects have to come from our own draft picks? Should we do it that way? Let me know down in the comments below. And I will say this too, before we get into this, and I know I'm kind of rambling a little bit here, but I just wanted to clarify some of this stuff. Monahan and Goodrow. Now, like I said in that episode, I tried trading for them. In my viewpoint of it is this. Don't view it as, oh, they were RFAs. You traded back for your first and third rounder after giving it up for Monahan so you could get Goodrow. Just think of it as a straight trade. It was Monahan and Goodrow, 2 players who Calgary could not sign, and I believe this happened to Danny DeKeyser. He was also an RFA. He didn't end up signing with Detroit, so he sat out the entire year. That would never happen, and it would never happen with Monahan or Goodrow. So simply view it as this, because again, I did try to make a 1-for-1 trade. It was Monahan and Goodrow for my first, third, Pascal LeBerge, and Matt Finn. That's a pretty good return for 2 players who Calgary could not afford to sign. But I will say this, our lineup otherwise, instead of Goodrow, it would be Josh Bailey. Instead of Monahan, it would be Grabowski. Instead of Zach Smith, it would be Nikolai Kulemin. Dal Call would be here anyway and would have replaced Jason Chimera. So really, our lineup would still be pretty good. It wouldn't be as good, obviously, without Monahan and Goodrow. But I do view that transaction or that series of transactions as fair. But again, the series is about, creating a challenge, making it interesting for you guys to watch. So let me know down in the comments below what you think we should do with Monahan and Goodrow. Should we keep them and just further handcuff ourselves moving forward so something like that doesn't happen again, even though, again, in my opinion, it was pretty fair? What should we do? Let me know. Again, I try to cater these series to you guys as much as possible because you're the ones that watch them. And without you guys, seriously, it's so cliched to say, but it's true. Without you guys watching my videos, I wouldn't be on YouTube. So be vocal in the comments. Let me know what we should do to keep this series realistic and challenging moving forward. With all of that finally out of the way, let's look at Buffalo, finally, see what they have to offer, and then finally get in to simming this first round matchup. But again, I felt like that all had to be said, and hopefully you guys respond to that kind of well, because I don't know. But here we go. Let's see what the Buffalo Sabres have to offer. And it's not the greatest team I've ever seen. Evander Kane, Ryan O'Reilly, and Tyler Ennis. Admittingly, I did look at potentially trading for Evander Kane in the first season. We held off on that, although I do think that'd be a pretty realistic move. That's a good top line. Like, that is a good offensive top line. Second line, Matt Molson, Jack Eichel, and 88 overall Sam Reinhart. Again, pretty damn dangerous offensively. Third line, Johan Larsson, Zemgus Girgensons, and Marcus Foligno. Another respectable lineup. The fourth line, Brian Gianna, Nick Delorier, and Justin Bailey. As far as overalls, it kind of drops off in terms of the bottom six, but they're all dangerous players. Delorier can certainly still get it done. You look at Brian Gianna's stats, what really drags him down is the physical category. He is still a dangerous player, even though he's listed as a depth guy. Defensively, they look pretty damn strong. Rasmus Ristolainen is with Kevin Shattenkirk. Dmitry Kulikov is with Zach Bogosian, and Jake McCabe with Cody Franzen on that third pairing. The goaltender is Linus Ullmark, somebody we tried to trade for in the Luongo move. That, of course, didn't happen. They wanted a lot for him. I can see why. He's turned into a very solid goaltender. Scratched players, Justin Falk and Josh Georges. Kyle Okposo currently out, which could explain why Bailey is in the lineup, or maybe it was Gianta originally out. But them not having Kyle Okposo is huge for us. I imagine Foligno would be on the fourth, Molson on the third, and Okposo probably on that first or second line. So they have a very, very dangerous team. I can see why they've won as many games as they did this past season. 51 wins, which is pretty crazy. I mean, it's like they don't have the best team I've ever seen, but that's what this game is. You never know just how well a team will do. I do want to check to see how long Kyle Okposo is out for. He has been recently injured, so we have no way to tell. That puts us at a pretty big advantage here as we head in to game one. Let's do this. We're, 7-8 minutes into this video and finally getting into the sim. But, all right, let's see what happens. First period, though, here in Buffalo, and we get the opening goal of this series. Johnny Boychuk, 5 minutes and 2 seconds in. That is a good start. Can we keep it up here in the second? And it is tied. Matt Molson tied the game up. Andrew Ladd gave us the lead, and we held it for less than a minute as Ryan O'Reilly beats Grice from dead in front. There was a goal from center ice by Matt Molson. My God, how many times has that happened on NHL 16 for us in these series? We are tied. It's 2 apiece. Let's sim this third period and see what happens. A power play for us. We can't get anything out of it. Not the best sign, but Johnny Boychuk, another goal from the point. Johnny Goodrow with the goal. John Tavares with the goal. Put a fork in him. It's done. We are taking game one, barring a miraculous collapse. 3 goals in under 4 minutes, and the New York Islanders take game one by the score of 5-2. Johnny Boychuk with one hell of a game. 2 goals, 4 points total. Thomas Greiss, the third star of the game, and that is a very, very good start for us in this series, and we will move right on to game 2 and hope that we keep that up here against the Sabres. It'd be so good for us to be able to take both of these first 2 games on the road, but I have a feeling that their offense is really going to wake up in this game, so let's do this. The first period is scoreless. Not bad for us, but I got a feeling that's going to change here in a second, so let's do it. Second period, and there it is. Evander Kane from the point, from the boards, a pretty terrible goal to let up unless there was a lot of traffic in front. We have no way of knowing, but we can here now start to sim. That wasn't English. Can you tell? Can you tell I'm kind of sick? I'm sure you can. Jack Eichel with the goal. Saves the day for them. Michael Dalcal, though, with the first playoff goal. Jack Eichel, I was going to say, saves the day for me, as I don't have to talk about that anymore. Cody Franzen, though, with the goal. Ryan O'Reilly with the goal. Put a fork in us. We're done. This is going to be an interesting series. Eichel, Franzen, and then O'Reilly 35 seconds after Franzen gets the goal. The Sabres do indeed bounce back in pretty damn good fashion. They take game 2 by the score of 4-1, and now the series shifts to Brooklyn for games 3 and 4. Let's see if we can regain control of this series. I think we have what it takes. The question is, will the execution be there? First period of game 3, and we are once again scoreless, so not bad. You know it'll change in the second. Let's find out who's taking the lead, and we do. It is Andrew Ladd under 5 minutes into the second, beating Linus Ullmark, and that sets up this third period. Can we hold on? A little bit more insurance would certainly be nice, but will we see yet again somebody just completely take control here in the third? It's not looking like it. 6 minutes to go. Brock Nelson gets the insurance, and that should be good enough. Thomas Greiss shuts the door, a 27 save shutout for him, and the New York Islanders take a 2-1 series lead here in this series, and Casey Cizikas goes down to injury. That is not ideal in the slightest. The question is, do we put Craig Cunningham into the lineup, who is our depth guy, or do we go with somebody from Bridgeport? That is the question. Let's see. So Zach Smith. I'm going to put Shane Prince back down there because he's been a little bit disappointing. We'll go with Anders Lee as the center. So we could go with Cunningham, or we could call up the likes of Alan Quine, Zach Ronaldo, Schaller. Might not be too bad. Oh, you know what? I think I'll call up Alan Quine. Let's call him up, get him into the lineup, and we will see if he can have an impact. We had to call him up quite a bit last season, not so much this year, but we'll see if he can be a playoff hero for us like he was in real life for the Islanders in this past postseason. So we will get this lineup in order. I should have just swapped them out one for one, but I didn't. So we will have, let's have Quine over there, Shane Prince, Nelson, Lee. That looks good enough to me. Put Gormley on the right. We'll just go best lines in Bridgeport again because we want them to get into the playoffs. And yeah, we're set. So a pretty big injury to Cizikas, losing out on our fourth line center, who was, of course, our third line center at the start. It's going to be a big loss for Bridgeport, too, as they make the playoffs and they play the Providence Bruins in the first round. They are without their number one center, Alan Quine, but we need him here because this is a very, very important game 4. We will either be tied at 2 games apiece heading back to Buffalo, or we will have a 3-1 series lead. Let's find out what happens. Here we go. First period, and yep, that's not ideal, is it? Brian Gionta and Tyler Ennis, the goals in the first period, and that puts us in a pretty rough spot. Can we turn it around in the second? That's a start. Johnny Boychuk continuing to just bang in goals from the point. What a beast. And that sets up this very important third period. We're being outshot 26-11 as we start the third. And the big question is, can our big players step up? John Tavares, Goodrow, Monahan. We have some very, very good offensive talent. They need to start delivering. We are in a bit of trouble. A very long power play for Buffalo. Evander Kane gets the insurance, and that will do it. A 3-1 victory for the Sabres in Game 4, and it now becomes essentially a best of 3 with Buffalo having home ice advantage. What was that power play? It was back-to-back power plays, Smith and Hamonic. Both minor penalties, and that puts us in quite a bit of trouble. We go back to Buffalo here for Game 5. Oh, so important. Who will take the 3-2 series lead? I hope to God it's us. Let's do this, though. First period of Game 5, and it's Johnny Boychuk again. This time from the corner. Calvin DeHaan also gets a goal. We were up 2-0, and then under a minute later, though, Sam Reinhart gets a goal back. That's pretty big for the Sabres. Second period, can we hold on to the lead? And we do, and we extend it. It's Michael Dalcal from the point, and we're up 3-1, outshooting them 26-15 as we start the sim of the third period here in Game 5. A power play for Buffalo, we kill that off. Another power play for Buffalo, we kill that one off too. Penalty kill, working out much better than it did in the last game. We have a power play, and Cody Franzen with a shorthanded goal. Justin Bailey with another goal. And we blow the lead. Are we going to overtime, or will there be a late winner? We are going to overtime. Up 3-1 with 7.5 minutes to go. And then Cody Franzen and Justin Bailey with the goals. And that sets up this overtime. Whoever gets the goal here puts their team in a very, very good spot here in this first round matchup. We're still out shooting them. That does not matter. Next goal will win this. And God, Tavares, man, if you could step up. Or P.A. Parento, that works for me too. P.A. Parento. Someone I am so glad that we've held on to. He's under a great contract, and he has delivered here over the past 2 seasons now. Michael Dalcal, the first star of the game. But P.A. Parento is the hero, and we have a 3-2 series lead as we go back to Brooklyn for Game 6 with a chance to close this series out. Let's do it. Let's end it right here. No need to go back to Buffalo. Who wants to go to Buffalo? First period of Game 6, and apparently we don't want to go to Buffalo. Andrew Ladd in particular doesn't want to go to Buffalo. 2 goals in that first period. 2 goals on 5 shots. And the New York Islanders have the lead, but we have blown a 2-goal lead before. And, actually just in the last game, wasn't it? So let's hope that doesn't happen again. No need for a repeat performance. Second period, though, here in Game 6, Evander Kane gets a goal back. We're being outshot. We still have the lead, and that sets up this third period. Let's do this. An early power play. And Ryan O'Reilly with the shorthanded goal. Larson with probably another shorty. 2 goals in 14 seconds. Oh, shit. 10 minutes to go. And my God, we are in trouble. 2 quick goals for O'Reilly and Larson. 2 minutes to go in this period. Matt Molson with the empty netter. And again, we blow a 2-goal lead. 4 unanswered goals for the Sabres, and we are going to a Game 7 back in Buffalo. That is not exactly ideal, is it? Andrew Ladd, a 2-goal performance, but nobody else felt like stepping up. And that all comes down to this very, very important Game 7. Cizikas will be back in the lineup, so that is good. We'll put him in. We'll have to send down Alan Quine, but that is all right by me. What did I fuck up here in the lineups? There we go. Nelson, third liner. Actually, let's see. Anders Lee's doing all right. Yeah, Nelson's doing all right too. You know what? Yeah, I mean, aside from Michael Dalcal, no one else is really doing anything, which is pretty disappointing. I'm going to put Goodrow down in the second pairing. I'm going to put Strome up on the third, and we will hope that this team will be good enough to get it done. God damn it, I forgot to put down Alan Quine. And I don't want to risk it if we win, having him complain about being scratched and then him never recovering from the morale. So we will have to do this really quick. Alan Quine, we don't have to worry about waivers. That'll be a big boost for Bridgeport, who we might end up having to follow for the rest of this video if we lose this game here. We'll see if they can have any success. It all comes down to this Game 7 in Buffalo. Winner moves on to probably get their asses kicked by Philly, Washington, Pittsburgh, whoever it is. But actually, no, it wouldn't be Washington. It'd be the Rangers, sorry. I don't know why I thought the Capitals won the division title this year because it was the Rangers. But I'm just stalling, aren't I? Let's do this. First period of Game 7. And Zemgus Girgensons with the opening goal. We outshot them, and that doesn't matter at all. Second period, can we turn it around? And we can. John Tavares and Johnny Gaudreau with 2 gigantic goals. Nice to see them both get on the board after splitting them up. We have the 2-1 lead heading into the third period of Game 7. Let's do this. An early power play. Nothing happening for either team. Another power play. Still nothing happening. And we're halfway home. 10 minutes to go. Can we hold on? A power play for Buffalo. Nothing doing. 5 minutes to go. Smith. Brendan Smith, the third pairing defenseman who we acquired at the deadline for a first-round pick. And Cirelli gets the goal. And we... Is it an upset when we're the defending champions? Because it feels like an upset to beat a 51-win team in Game 7, even if it is in the first round. Regardless, the New York Islanders are moving on. John Tavares shows up when we needed him most, and that is a gigantic win for us. The Bridgeport Sound Tigers are going to a Game 5 themselves, and we will be able to sim that. We play the Ottawa Senators in the next round. I'll actually take a look at this right now. The Senators beat the Canadiens. It's Pittsburgh and Washington, and the other Eastern Conference matchup on the other side, Nashville, Anaheim, Arizona, and San Jose. The Coyotes have been one of the best teams all year long. Really quick, let's find out if the Sound Tigers are moving on. And then we'll finish up this episode and prepare for our second round matchup against the Sens. It's a 1-0 loss for the Sound Tigers. Ryan Pulock goes down to injury. That's a pretty shitty way to end their season, but I'm at least happy that they made the playoffs. And I'm happy that we're moving on after that win over the Buffalo Sabres. So guys, that'll do it for this episode. Again, let me know down in the comments below what you think of how we should tailor, how we should really switch up this series. Just let me know what you would like to see from this series moving forward. We still have about a month left to go here with daily, if not every other day, uploads pending on my schedule at this point. But yeah, as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, make sure to hit that like button to continue helping out the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already to continue following this series. And I will see you guys in the next one as we take on the Ottawa Senators in round 2.
A week, or is it only a couple days?
Maybe it's a week, but they might extend it a bit more.
Rounded up by Alexi.
Early August, when we put on a load.
Line to Irwin. Shoots one.
Oh, good try.
Away.
That was a weird save animation. Almost looked like it warped through his glove.
It kind of was, yeah.
Dave,
Oh, by the way, did you